Good morning, good morning, good morning, Kai. Just in time, we're just about to get started here. So we're continuing our mindfulness series. Hey, can you not flick your butt on stream? Sexy. So we're continuing our mindfulness lesson here, and today we're on the principle of non-striving. We've been following the lessons of the basic principles of mindfulness according to Jon Kabat-Zinn, who is a PhD and runs an amazing, now he's much older, elder for sure, mindfulness type retreat or like therapy facility. Kai says hi, Lucy. Okay. And anyway, he really popularized the idea of mindfulness here in the West from the Buddhist principles that he studied. So we've been going through the idea of beginner's mindset. We've come a long way this week. Beginner's mindset, non-judgment, acceptance, patience, trust, and today's lesson is on non-striving. So we're just moving right along. It's just an intro to each concept. As always, everything that I lead you through is just an invitation. Don't feel like it's not a dance routine. It doesn't have to look any specific type of way. Do what's going to feel best in your body. You know best, and trust, like we spoke about yesterday, trust that you actually do know what's best for your body. I'm not in the room with you, so if you do have questions, you need or would like an alternative, please just ask me so I can give you a different option. Any pain that you're experiencing in your joints, you just want to back off. But any like shaking or discomfort or tension in the belly of the muscle, you just want to keep pressing through because you're building strength there. Shaking's okay. We'll start with a grounding meditation, move into a about 50-55 minute long movement practice, asana practice, and then end with a nice long Savasana final relaxation. I'll guide you through that with some Tibetan singing bowls, and we'll get started right here. Hands come to rest on the knees. Let's come to seated. Yep. Either on the floor, or on your mat, on a chair is just fine, wherever you might be. Chest over hips, head over heart, palms down to ground down, or palms can flip open to the sky to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable. Not lowering the gaze just to beyond your legs works as well. And we'll take 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears. And out through the mouth, shoulders drop down and away with an audible sigh. And let the breathing continue just in and out through the nose if that's available. Returning to a normal, natural pace. And we'll just take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this space. beginning to allow sounds in from your surrounding area. Perhaps the sound of traffic passing outside the window. And the sound of morning birds. And whatever it is, allowing it in, all part of this moment, all part of this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. The weight, where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. And just taking note to work into the places that call out for your attention throughout your practice today. And we'll shift that awareness from the body, Anamaya Kosha, to the energetic body, Pranamaya Kosha. And notice from a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in this moment? 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl back into bed. 10 being so full of energy, it's hard to sit still. And shifting the awareness to the breath, no need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, whatever space and holding in between. And bringing the awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Allowing thoughts and feelings to arise. And without engaging them, observe them from a distance, like an image being projected onto a wall. And as you're watching these thoughts and feelings from a distance, see yourself as separate from the thoughts. You are the witness of these thoughts, of your breath, of your body. And something bigger and deeper. You just want to notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not good or bad, not right or wrong. Not a reflection of who you are. Just something to notice. And we'll bring that attention back down to the breath. This time actively inhaling and exhaling to expand the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhale fills belly like a balloon, expanding. And exhale draws belly button in towards spine, actively deflating. Inhale fills belly and ribs, ribs expanding out to the sides. Exhaling releases ribs, then belly. Inhale fills belly, ribs, all the way up to chest, up to the collarbones, filling completely. Exhale releases chest, ribs, belly, all compressing in, deflating. Breathing like that, filling from bottom to top. Exhaling top to bottom. Dirga Pranayam, 3-part breath. Today's focus is on non-striving. Have you ever felt like you're spending your whole life moving from one external goal to the next? Mindfulness offers another approach. Non-striving is a practice of engaging in the process rather than the outcome. The principle of non-striving in mindfulness encourages you to become aware of the sources of your motivations and to make the choice to respond to internal motivations rather than external rewards or pressure. Non-striving allows enjoyment of an activity for its own sake, to seeing the value of fully being in your experiences. On your next exhale, releasing that effort from the breath, returning to a normal, natural pace. We'll invite hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together, in the Anjali Mudra. Thumbs pressing into the sternum, no space between the fingers. And consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. It can be the intention you've been working with this whole time, or for today, perhaps you set the intention of non-striving. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap, chin drops towards chest. And inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. And left ear towards left shoulder. Hello, balanced bear brothers. Welcome, welcome. Just allowing the head to roll side to side. Balanced bear, I feel like, Glassy, did I hear a pat in the background? No, that was a screaming child in the parking lot that's behind that window. Like I said, we're allowing all sounds in, all part of this experience. Actually, don't have many kids in. I've never seen a child in this apartment building except during the holidays, so it must be somebody visiting. I'm not happy about it. Balanced bear brothers, I feel like I'm like having you over because I keep seeing you in other people's rooms. So now I'm like, oh, welcome to my studio. Having some company. Glassy, no, Pat is resting in the other room. If anything, I'm probably waking him up. And the next time the head rolls through center, we'll bring it up to neutral and begin to roll the shoulders forward. Happy Friday, everyone. I have to say that out loud too, just so I know what day of the week it is, right? Take this countdown off, because here we are. And rolling the shoulders back. So the music I play in class is by Harris Heller, who's this artist who puts out non-DMCA music. Basically, we're free to use his music to stream without getting copy struck or owing him any money. And he's actually doing really well now. He's quite successful. And he just put out this new album today. It's called Diamonds. So I haven't checked it out before, but it's just beats. So I know there won't be anything too like wordy or inappropriate in it. So kind of experience this album for the first time together, which I thought would be nice. Alright, coming to stillness in the shoulders. They should feel nice and warm. Now, inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, bending over to the right. Left arm reaches over for a side stretch. Inhale up through center. And exhale over to the left. Following the breath in to rise. Out to bend. In to rise. Out to bend. And so when we come up through center, we'll twist over to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, chest opening to the side wall. Inhale back up through center. And exhale over to the left. So it's not the deepest twist ever. We're just kind of waking our bodies up to that movement. Following the breath into center. Out to twist. Inhale up, reach tall. And exhale, it's almost like wringing out a sponge. We just got one more to each side. Nice. And then hands come down to shoulder height. We'll just give them a wave out. Then like playing piano, just pressing the hands down to get the deepest bend here and scoping out what your range of motion is. We'll flip the palms towards the sky. Keep the elbows in place, and we're pressing the hands back as far as possible. Fingers spread wide. And shake off water. 3, 2, 1. Right, and then Lucy's in my way, but we're gonna extend the legs out front, in front of us. Spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out the ankles. Change directions. And bend in the knees, feet come nice and wide. We'll drop the knees side to side. Just gonna grab this. Oof. Nope. Yes. Nope. So you can have a chat near me. Just letting the hips open up here. Oof, nice and gentle. See you guys without having to walk to the screen each time. Oh, that's nice. Lesson plan. And the next time the knees fall over to, actually, you know what I want to do? We'll bring the feet together and then let the knees splay out. And just take your hands and just start to give your feet a massage. So I'm going to work into the feet a little bit today. We're not going to go all out like we did last week, but I think Fridays are a nice day to work into the fascia of the feet. So, well, Lucy's my little sensor here, but I'm just using my thumbs to work into the bottoms of the feet. So fascia is the connective tissue that, it's almost like a webbing around all of our muscles. And when that's tight and stiff, almost think of it like cold butter. It's kind of gross, but it is what it is. It doesn't move very well. But as we warm it up, it becomes more liquidy, more than liquidy, almost oily, so it moves without issue. So before you can stretch your muscles safely, the fascia has to be warmed up. So I'm just going to get a nice little foot massage here. All right. Grabbing onto the ankles or the feet, the shins. Deep breath in to get tall. And exhale, we're just going to hinge forward. Elbows compress into the knees. Once again, it doesn't have to be the deepest stretch of your life right in the beginning of class. We're just starting to wake the body up to the shape that we're heading towards, right? It's non-striving today is our focus. So we're just allowing a little intro to that movement. Yes, baby, I love you. Okay. One last deep breath here in this folded Baddha Konasana. Back up to seated. Knees come together. We come to tabletop pose. With wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. Inhaling, belly drops, hips and chest rises for cow pose. I'm pressing my hands down and back, pressing my knees down and forward. Like I'm going to scrunch my mat together for that grip. And exhale, rounding in the spine through cat pose, chin tucks towards chest. I'm pressing the hands down and forward, the knees down and back for leverage to get even deeper into this rounding of the spine. Inhale through cow. Exhale through cat. I'm just beginning to connect to your own breath's pace here, allowing the speed of your breath, or rather the speed of your body, to be informed by the length of your breath. And the next time you exhale into cat pose, begin to lift the knees. So I'm just lifting the knees. You can lift the knees a couple inches or even further. So I'm in my cat pose, stretching the tops of the feet. So the knees are lifted up off the ground. And then releasing the knees down to the mat. Inhaling through cow. Exhale, pressing, rounding, pressing so hard that the knees lift. And inhaling through cow. So stretching the whole front side of the leg, the shin, the ankles, the feet. And this last one, we're gonna round through that lifted cat pose. And I send the hips back a bit too, to bring even more stretch into the feet. Careful not to roll out to the outside ankle. We're stretching the top of the foot here, the shoelace part of the foot, not the outside ankle, just the front side. We've got one more breath here, really pressing the ground away. Then gently release the knees down. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out. Nice work there. All right, right foot takes a step up between the hands. Left foot steps up to meet it. We'll bring the feet out, mat's distance apart, and then bending and extending one leg and the other, just waking up the backs of the legs. And the knees are as bent as they need to be. I'm going to start to release the upper half of the body here, giving the head a nod, yes. Giving the head a shake, no. You can grab opposite elbows to create a frame for the head and give yourself a little sway side to side or a bob. For a ragdoll pose, just allowing yourself to move freely here. Letting the head be heavy. Elongate the spine. And gently release the hands. Feet heel toe in towards one another. Big toes come to touch. Heels slightly apart so that the ankles don't knock together. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. So my tailbone is pointing towards the back side of the wall, the back wall. The crown of my head is reaching towards the front wall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, eyes follow fingertips. Exhale, forward fold, soften the knees. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, chair pose, bend in the knees, sink in the hips, arms sweep forward. So I'm leaning back, 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 so far back that I can see my toes past my knees. And then notice if you're sticking your butt out, just give it a little round so that your spine is actually nice and long. So we want length in the back. Got a deep breath in here. I'm squeezing my knees together. That takes some of the effort and strength out of the thighs. So now I'm pressing in instead of just down. That makes sense. So we redistribute some of the effort here. Deep breath in here with fingertips reaching forward. And out. And then opening to the right. Inhale, like you're gathering a cloud. And exhale, like you're squeezing it together. Inhale, open left. Exhale, back through center. Inhale, right. Exhale, center. Strong in the legs, strong in the breath. Inhale, left. Exhale, center. Then straight up to stand. Full body stretch, maybe a little back bend. Pressing the hips forward, squeezing the glutes, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Right foot takes a giant step back. And come up to a high lunge here, bringing the arms up over the hips. Or you can bring the hands onto the thigh for a step up for more stability. Left hips pulling back, right hips pulling forward. So my hips are square to the short edge of the mat. Arms are up over the shoulders. It can be a little bend to the elbows if that's bringing any tension to the neck. Just got a full deep breath in here and out. The left hand comes down onto the left hip. That's the leg that's forward. And the right arm's going to reach over for a side bend. So I'm bending towards the bent knee side, but keeping the shoulders over the hips, right? So I'm not leaning forward or leaning back. You should feel a nice deep stretch in this whole right side body. Inhale brings you back up through center. And exhale, hands release down to frame the left foot. Right hand stays where it is, left arm opens up for a twist. So I'm reaching towards the sky with my left hand. Maybe the head turns to face the hand, but only if that feels good for the neck. It's like the icing on the cake. Tempting to drop the right hip down, but don't. Keep it nice and strong. Another deep breath in. And exhale, hand releases down to the ground, framing that front foot. Bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot. And gently release the right knee down to the mat. So I'll turn so you can see me. I'm going to heel toe the foot out to the side, just a couple inches, and then allow that knee to start to open up. So it goes from knee over ankle onto the pinky side edge of the foot. So just a couple times like that, bringing some movement into this inner hip and groin area. You might feel it clicking, it might feel intense, it might feel really nice. You're just kind of observing. Okay. The next time it falls out that way, we're just going to hold it there and the breathing continues. This might already feel quite extreme for you, and so stay here. Alternately, you can tuck the right toes under and lift the leg, like just lift the knee, and that's going to change a bit where you feel the stretch here in the hips. One's not more advanced than the other, they're just two different variations. And if you still feel you've got space to play, although it's pretty early, you can start to bring the forearms down to the ground, or even your chest down to the ground, wherever really your hip is at, where it feels good for you. So it should feel intense, but not painful. And we just got 2 deep breaths in here, or deep breaths here. The inhale, we're in space, and exhale deepens you into the pose. Non-striving, there's no goal, there's no final posture here. It just is what it is. And the hands press back into the ground if they're not there already. Knee comes back over the ankle. Heel toe the foot to the middle of your hands. Right toes tuck under. Left leg gets sent back. Let's go straight into a 3-legged dog today. Straight back. So we did a bunch of push-ups and scapular push-ups yesterday. So let's just go straight back into 3-legged dog. Hips are up towards the sky. Bend in the left knee and just give some hip circles here. Oh, should feel like quite a bit of relief from that last pose called lizard. And this is just our three-legged dog. So I'm just exploring my range of motion. It might be small or big circles for you. Fast or slow. I always prefer slow. I think momentum doesn't really help in these balancing postures. Yeah, and any clicking or cracking, it's like, cool, good to know that's there. Like no judgment on whether it's good or bad, better or worse. It just is what it is. And then I'm gonna let that foot touch down next to the right, and give the feet just a nice little pedal out. Really been stretching out that right calf as well, you might feel that. Fingers are spread wide, head is heavy. The inhale, lifting onto tiptoes, heels rise. Exhaling, heels release down towards the ground. Regardless if they touch or not, they're just releasing down. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, audible sigh as they drop. Once more like that. And the right leg sweeps up and back behind you towards the back wall. Exhale, knee in towards nose, rounding in the spine. Shoulders come up over the wrist. Tiger pose. Right foot steps up between the hands. Left foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Nice, we're just going to take a breath here in mountain pose, Tadasana. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, eyes follow the fingertips. Squeeze in the glutes, lift in the chest. Maybe the chest tilts back just a bit for a little baby back bend. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Knees bend, hips get sent back, back, so far back that you can see your toes past your knees. Arms sweep forward. So we're going to open up to the right, just as we have before. Chest open to the side. Then hands come to heart center, like our prayer pose, Anjali Mudra. Option here to play with hooking the left elbow with the right knee. So I'm trying to get my tricep or my elbow to the outside of my right knee here. And now see how my hands have shifted? They're like close to my right shoulder. I'm going to press my hands together to open my chest even more towards the side wall. So I'm stacking my right shoulder over the left shoulder, trying to get my hands back to heart center without losing that connection of elbow and knee. So regardless of if your hands are at heart center or not, you're still in this twisted chair pose. So you can look down and then just notice your left knee probably creeped forward to compensate for the twist. You just want to pull it back so that the knees stay in alignment. We keep the twist in the spine. We got one more breath here. Whew. And then like pressing rewind, bring it back through that high twist, back through center, chair pose, and then stretch it all the way up. Full body stretch. Release the arms down with that sigh. Nice. So now we gotta even it out. I'm gonna turn to face this direction so that I can still be facing you, but you can stay facing forward, whatever makes sense for you. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, getting nice and tall. Maybe a little tuck of the hips for a back bend. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Bend in the knees, sink in the hips, arms sweep forward. Elongate the lower spine. Hips go back, back, so far back, you can see your toes past your knees. And inhale, the left arm opens up. So in a high twist to the right. You can also stay here. This is arguably as difficult or more difficult because you don't have that pressure redistributing some of the weight and effort into the elbow. So never feel ashamed of where you are. Every pose has its challenges and its benefits. Hands come to heart center. And maybe this right elbow hooks with the outside of the left knee. Real quick, check in that the back knee hasn't creeped forward. Keep it in alignment with the left. And as the palms press together, the chest opens towards the left. Bringing hands towards heart center, left shoulder stacking over right shoulder. Twisted Utkatasana, twisted chair pose. So now, lots of the effort is pressing in towards one another. The elbows pressing into the knees are pressing in towards one another. And that helps redistribute the weight out of the thighs, keeping yourself in this half squat, this chair pose. This is a really strengthening, grounding posture. You might already be feeling the heat, maybe even sweating a bit. I am. Full breath here. And we release just the way we want in. Up through a high twist with control. You got it. You can do this. Back through chair. And then all the way up. Full body stretch. Release the arms down. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Left foot takes a giant step back. Coming up to a high lunge, you can use that thigh as a step. None. Sweep the arms right up overhead. Shoulders over hips. Notice the right hip's going to have a tendency to pull forward here, and instead we want to pull back. So we're not falling into a split, we're pulling back to keep the hips nice and square with one another. I want my knee over my ankle, so to make that happen I just need to bring my back foot in a little bit. So we keep joints stacked over joints, hips square. Maybe the arms come up overhead. And exhaling, the shoulders just melt away. That usually means just bringing a little micro bend to the elbows for me. Full breathing here, stretching out that back calf, but pressing my heel down towards the ground, even though the heel's not going to touch the ground. Right hand releases onto the right hip. And left arm reaches over for a side bend. Just like in our warm-up, I'm just opening up the whole left side body, but now you might feel it in your left thigh as well. So that part that we were just hinging at, that we were just strengthening, now we're giving it a nice stretch to build some nice long, lean muscle. One more deep breath here, really reaching through the left fingertips. Bring it back up through center. Arms both raise up. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands release down to the inside of the right foot. Send my left foot a bit further back and gently release the knee down to the mat. And heel toe the foot just a couple inches out to the right. And then begin to play with that butterfly wing flap. Just allowing the knee to open out, maybe rolling onto the pinky side edge of this foot. And back. Open and closed. So you can be going even slower than me, quicker, whatever really works for you. And the next time that knee rolls open, we'll hold it there, and the breathing continues. Lizard pose. One side might feel different than the other, so you might want to explore the other variations just to see what's available. Left toes tuck under, maybe the knee lifts to change the location of the stretch. Maybe this side it feels okay to lower down onto forearms or even onto your chest. Different sides, different bodies, all that jazz. Just notice it might be easier for you to release onto just the left forearm, keeping the right arm straight. Instead of being here in like a middle section, just commit all the way down or all the way up. It's okay. I just want to keep it a little balanced. We're just fully breathing here, even in the discomfort of the pose. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just be. Not pressing back up onto the hands if you are lower down. Knee comes back up over the ankle. Heel toe the foot back in to between the hands. Left toes tuck under. We're pressing straight back to three-legged dog. Right leg sweeps up and back behind you. Left leg is long, hips up towards the sky. Bend in the right knee. And we're just going to come into some hip circles on this side. Just bringing some movement back into that hip. We just deeply stretch. Stay strong in both arms. The left elbow is going to want to bend here, but just keep it strong and straight instead. I don't want collapsing into that left shoulder at all. We don't want to land on the left side of your face, though. If you do, or if you already have, all good. You're just a couple inches from the ground. But let's still try to avoid that in this pose. Actually, chipped my tooth passing out in a downward facing dog in one of my first hot yoga classes, so let's avoid that altogether. So whichever direction feels good for these knee circles, and then when you're done, just gently place the right foot down to the ground. You might pedal out the feet a couple times, giving the left calf a little bit of a break. We just gave it a big stretch before. Nice. You may lift both heels up off the ground, deep breath in, and exhale, sighing it out. And the left leg sweeps up and back behind you, leg towards the wall. Exhale, knee in towards nose, rounding in the spine through tiger pose. Shoulders come up over the wrists. Left foot steps up between the hands. Right foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana mountain pose. Nice, you may take a sip of water here, towel off a bit. We've built up quite a bit of heat. Nice. And then we'll come to meet, facing one another once more. All right. So, arms open up overhead with a deep breath in. And exhale. I'm going to do this closer, kneeling, but you guys stay standing just so you can see what I'm doing. On the exhale, the right arm sweeps under the left arm. So it's like Dorothy, Scarecrow. Which way did he go? He went that way. I'm going as far as I can. I'm trying to get my elbows like past one another. And then backs of the hands come to touch. Okay. This right hand comes in towards the forehead. And when it comes back out, it crosses in front. So it's here, hand to hand. Hand comes in, and maybe curls in front. If this is sharply painful for your shoulders, you're here, and then you just grab the shoulders. Still valid. Either variation. Beautiful. Okay. So here we are in the arms. Then we're going to bend in the knees, almost like chair pose, but not quite. Right leg opens out to the side, light on the toes, like we're setting up for a tree pose, but more exaggerated. We're going to bring the leg all the way out to the side and big cross over the left leg. So now it's like I'm crossing my legs in a chair, and maybe the foot hooks behind the calf. So on the side, I'm opening out to the side, hooking, like I'm crossing my legs in a chair, and maybe that foot hooks behind. Okay. Whether or not the foot hooks, I'm pressing the knees in towards one another, and the elbows are squeezing in towards one another as well. Pulling the elbows down towards belly button. I'm letting my knees be really bent, my hips be really sunk down, just like chair. So we're really building up this thigh strength today. Garudasana Eagle Pose. So everything's being pulled in towards center. I'm trying to get my knees in alignment with my belly button, my elbows in alignment with my belly button. So it's a straight line down the center line of my body. Full breath here. And then arms release, legs release. Deep breath in, side out. So it's all a big squeeze in towards center, right? Okay. Inhaling for the other side, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, the left arm sweeps under the right arm. Now the left hand comes in towards the forehead, and when it comes back out, it comes out on the inside of the right hand. It's called eagle arms. And I like pulling them down. So it's like I'm pulling my elbows down towards my belly button. There's other variations that pull it up. It feels like not super safe for my left shoulder, but you know, I used to pole dance, so if you've got past shoulder injuries, you can see what's right for you. You can also grab onto the shoulders, still valid, a little easier with the drishti because you're not looking at your hands moving all the time. Bend in the knees, left knee opens out to the side, light on the toes. And a big cross of the legs over the right thigh, bringing that foot back. Say your foot doesn't hook. You just send the foot back. Back, 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 trying to get the knees to touch. Trying to get the whole back of the left leg, left thigh, on top of the right thigh. If it does hook, it actually makes the pose quite a bit easier because you can use that hook for leverage to squeeze the thighs even tighter together. Squeeze the knees even tighter together. Same thing with the hands. The elbows are squeezing tight together. And then sink in the hips even a little bit more. It sounds like it's going to be harder by sinking in the hips, but it actually helps hold the pose together even more. So there's lots of little misleading things like that. That looks like, oh, that's a more advanced version of the pose. Okay, it might look a little fancier, but actually makes the pose a bit easier. So if you're in the beginning stages, you can't get the foot hooked or the hands hooked or whatever it might be, the elbow hooked with the knee in that pose earlier, don't feel discouraged. You're in the most difficult foundational part of the pose. You're doing probably a lot more work than the person who has all the hooks and grabs and all of that jazz in there because they're able to redistribute some of the effort. Non-strive. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to be, no one to be. Just breathing. Garudasana Eagle Pose. We got one more breath here. We're releasing arms. Release legs. Oh, deep breath in. Let it go. We'll be doing a number on the thighs today. Let's shake that out. So, just shake out the arms. Give yourself a little bounce. Shake out the legs. Whew, doing lots of leg work today. Check out the other leg. Here we are shaking out the body, letting the shoulders rise and drop, rise and drop. A little twist. Really no wrong answers here. So lymphatic shake. We're just trying to get the lymphatic system to drain here. Just kind of get all those juices flowing. Anything that jiggles, like specific invitation to just let it jiggle, it's fine. It's not just fine, it's like the whole point, because we want things to just really flop. If you can't go like full jumps for whatever reason, just lift the heels and drop them to create that bounce. You can take up the whole surface of your mat or stay in one place, whatever you're feeling like today. But feel free to take up space in this practice at all times. Like be extra, like all of those like extra inhales before the forward folds, all the back bends, like literally nobody's watching you practice right now. You can be so dramatic, like make a face like you're about to die before the forward fold. Like literally just go for it. Like make faces, let your face be a part of the class, like smile, laugh, you know? Just you guys can see how ridiculous I'm being. You have no idea, but it's just me and not online. Just go all out, whatever, you know? All right, now we're nice and warmed up. Pretty warm class anyway, pretty fiery class. We're gonna come into our breath of joy. It's a 4-part breath. Let my feet be a little bit more than hips distance, maybe shoulder distance. And it's a 4-part breath. The first 3 parts are inhales, equaling one big inhale. So it's a sip of air in, 33% of lung capacity in. Sip of air in, 33% of lung capacity. Sip of air in, the other 34% or whatever that percentage is. And a big ha out and back. So again, that chair pose, the arms sweep back. So it goes in, arms sweep forward, in, arms sweep out, in, arms sweep forward, ha! We got 10 of those. In, 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 ha! In, 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 ha! 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 3 more. Ha! Ha! Last one. Ha! Just coming to stillness. Hand lands on the belly, hand lands on the chest, feet are nice and wide, eyes can even come to close. We just observe what was created. Just taking the snow globe of your body, of your life, giving it a righteous shake. And here we just watch the glitter dust fall where it may. What showed up for you? What shows up for you when you don't hold back? When you just let it go? What emotions, what thoughts, what feelings, what memories? What shows up is not who you are, much like the thoughts we observed earlier. You are witnessing these occurrences, these brain synapses. You are not them, you are much more cosmic than all that. And gently blink the eyes open. Release the hands down. And come into a pose called Goat Pose. It's very grounding. Bring the feet out wide. A little, just like shoulder, a little more than shoulder distance. Nothing too wide. And then you're gonna let the knees knock together. My knees are really bendy, so I'm gonna keep going until my feet are far enough apart that my knees, my ankles actually stop me from my knees touching. Does that make sense? So my chest is over my hips. Now I'm letting my knees come together. But before they can touch, my ankles are at the extent of their flexibility, so there's a little space. So this is weight coming down and forward, but still I'm upright. Arms are just down by the sides, and just feel the weight coming forward in these thighs that we've just been doing a lot of work in. Okay. Just got a deep breath here. It's called Goat Pose. So from here you can actually tuck the chin in towards the chest, grab the back of the head. I'm not pulling, I'm just letting the weight of gravity be enough, giving the top of my back a bit of a rounding. So all the energy is concentric, it's all coming in towards center, building up pressure. And then out through star. We worked on this on Wednesday. Toes come out, maybe mats distance apart, the short side of the mat, like this. Let's do this. Cool. So if you're facing this side of the mat, my toes come off the mat, but my heels are still on the mat. And I'm going to lower down, bending in the knees, sinking in the hips. Malasana, deep squat pose. So I'm landing with my heels down to the best of my ability, then I turn my toes in towards you. So my toes and my knees are facing the same direction. I'm hooking the insides of my elbows to my knees, the insides of my knees now. Just giving it a little rock side to side. So it's just like the opposite stretch. Morning. The opposite stretch on my hips. And we're just going to come all the way down to seated. Whew. Legs come out in front. I'm just going to turn to the side so it makes sense with what you're seeing. But you can still be down the long side of your mat. Give your knees a hug in and we'll give it a roll back. Little rock side to side. I just want to stretch out the front of my thighs a bit. Like that would feel good for me right before Savasana from all of that strengthening that we've been doing. So feet are hips distance apart, hands are down by the sides. A little tuck of the hips so I can feel my lower back pressed into the ground. I'm going to peel the spine up off the ground. One vertebra at a time. Hips, belly, chest rises. And then I tuck my shoulders under so I can press my triceps into the ground. So it's not just in my neck. Like my neck's not even touching the ground. You don't want to move your head around too much in this pose. Garudasana bridge pose. So here I'm literally squeezing my glutes. Pressing my hips up towards the sky. My knees aren't pressing together, but I'm also not letting them splay out. They stay over the ankles quite purposefully. I'm pressing my triceps into the ground. I'm lifting my hips up as high as I can, squeezing the glutes for that lift to give the tops of the thighs a stretch. Maybe the hands interlace below the back, like you're holding your own hand, and help in that press up. Fully breathing here. On the exhale, we release in reverse. Hands unclasp, and we lower down one vertebra at a time. So I untuck my shoulders, roll down, nice and gentle. Left leg extends long. Right knee pulls in towards the body, avoiding the belly. Knee pulls in towards the shoulder. Flexing my left foot for wind relieving pose. Right foot's totally relaxed. No. Okay. We're going to change sides. Extend right leg, left knee pulls in towards the body. So I just avoid the belly by pulling the knee out to the side, in towards the shoulder, and then back up towards center. Flex through the right foot, let the left foot relax. And my shoulders are completely relaxed. If anything, I'm using some bicep strength here, pulling this knee in towards shoulder. Release that leg long, and then both knees come in for a deep squeeze. Release the squeeze, release the knees over to the right. Left arm opens up like the letter T. I can even look over that left arm. And the left shoulder is pressing down to the ground. Otherwise, everything else is relaxed. So there's no need, non-striving. You know, the knees don't have to touch the ground. The knees don't have to touch one another. There's really nowhere to go here. Just letting gravity do the work for this twist. The only effort is the shoulder being pressed into the ground. Then head comes back up through center. Knees come up through center. And release the knees over to the left. Left hand lands on top of right knee. Right arm opens up like the letter T. Just let it be straight out like the letter T. It's not high or low. It's just straight out. Right shoulder's pressing into the ground. Maybe the head turns to look over the right fingertips to give the neck a complete twist, the whole spine a complete twist. Supta Matsyendrasana, spinal twist. Head comes back up through center, knees come up through center. Notice, is there any last movement or wiggle or twist, whatever your body might be asking for. It doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name as we prepare for Savasana, final relaxation pose. Is there any body part that called out for your attention that wasn't addressed? No wrong answers here. In preparation for Savasana, it might also look like grabbing a blanket, putting on socks as the body temperature does lower during this pose. Taking a sip of water. I'm going to come up to seated so that I can play some singing bowls for you and lead you through the practice, but you are more than welcome, in fact encouraged, to stay laying down. No rush making your way to the end of your movement, your intuitive movement. Gently making your way into Savasana, final relaxation pose. You're back on the ground, facing the ceiling. You might place a blanket underneath your knees to keep a little bend in the knees. relieving any pain in the lower back that you might feel from laying flat on your ground, on the back. Feet land at least a foot apart. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Arms land at least 6 inches from the body, palms face open, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable for you. If not, a soft gaze towards the sky will do just fine. We'll take 3 cleansing breaths, just like how we started class. In through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. And allow the breath to continue just through the nose, if that's available. Returning to a natural pace. Invite space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw hangs heavy. And the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. All the muscles surrounding the nose and nostrils relax. As the exhalations become longer and deeper than the inhalations. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets. Eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. And all the muscles in the cheeks and ears, and the back and top of the head relax. And the weight of the head rests softly on the ground. Neck and throat relax. Shoulders melt away, melting down. Upper arms and elbows rest heavy. Forearms and wrists relax. And palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, fingernail beds, all rest heavy. Whole hands alive with vibration, alive with the creative potential. Integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back, rest supported from below. Chest naturally rises and falls with the breath. And belly naturally rising and falling with the breath. Every exhale sinking you down towards your backside body, towards the ground. Pelvis, glutes, hips, rest. Thighs and knees melt away. Calves and ankles relax. And the heels, arches of the feet, tops of the feet, toes, whole foot. Rest, relax. Whole body heavy. Whole body relaxed. Whole body resting. Today we focused on non-striving, the principle of mindfulness that asks, have you ever felt like you're spending your whole life moving from one external goal to the next? Mindfulness offers another approach. Non-striving is a practice of engaging in the process rather than the outcome. The principle of non-striving in mindfulness encourages you to become aware of the sources of your motivations and to make the choice to respond to internal motivations rather than external rewards and pressure. Non-striving allows enjoyment of an activity for its own sake, to seeing the value of fully being in your experience. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more, nothing less. Gently invite your inhalations to deepen and become longer and deeper than your exhalations. And that feeling of heaviness, replace with a feeling of lightness and openness. Feel Every inhale draws you to the surface of your body, feeling expansive. Fingers begin to wiggle and the toes as well. As movement is introduced, let your head rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. And rolling over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Fully relaxed, fully supported by the earth below you. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for practice today, or set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, using as little effort as possible, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on the mindfulness principle of non-striving. Physically, we had a very grounding practice, pressing into the earth, strengthening the legs, strengthening the thighs, also opening the hips. The first namaste said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste said out loud to everyone that held this space, to one another. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you found something that serves you. Everyone, I hope you take it easy today, even if it's going to be a day to accomplish a lot. Sometimes we can take it easy and accomplish quite a bit. I think we did in class today. I think if you stuck with me that whole time, Glassy, glad to see you're here still. Like, you stuck with it the whole time, then you put in a lot of work, a lot of effort. You don't get a medal at the end of yoga. You're just there for the process and the experience. That's what non-striving is all about. It's like process-oriented mindset more than a results-oriented mindset. Not what will this do for me later, although yes, physiologically, psychologically, yoga has all of these benefits as science. Great. And like, I nerd out about science. I'm about it. However, what is it doing for me right now in this moment? And so I'm always asking us to like check in. It's like not just like check in with your heart, like, you know, and the meta of it, spirituality of it, like yes, that. But also just, is your heart rate accelerated? Like, is this counting as a cardiovascular activity? Like, I want you to see that you can change your heart rate just by changing your breath rate. Creating that relationship with the breath. And when we feel anxious, our heart goes up. Okay, well, if I can make my heart rate go up with my breath, I can slow it down too. And I think that's really valuable to know that we can have an intentional effect on our bodies. So anyway, I don't know if that resonates, but I hope class resonated, and I hope that these lessons in mindfulness, John Kabat-Zinn's, principles, super basic. I'm just scratching the surface. I'm more like reading the chapter header on the surface of all of these principles. But I hope that it makes sense as to why I'm bringing it into the yoga classroom, and is providing some added value. I'll probably touch back later on in the year on them and all that, but I thought it made sense altogether. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys all being here this morning. I'll be here same time, same place tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after. But tomorrow's our last day in this mindfulness series, so I would love to see you there.